Hey, everyone. Jim, Travis, Kevin, Gonzalo, Teresa, Wantamak, Barry, Greg, Joseph, Alexia, Doug, Travis again. Hey, Rob Brown. We're just doing an SMC replacement. I don't normally really do these too much in the middle of the day, but hey, I just wanted to get this board fixed up, and I figure it's damn, another 3437. What's the bet I'm not going to have any 165s? 3437. Yeah, come on. Be that kind of day for me. Yep, 3437. Yeah, 165, and guess what? No SMC. Hilarious. Yeah, well, we'll get this one off first and then see what we can do. So basically, we have already changed the ISL, we've checked the battery, we've checked the connector on the board for the battery, and they all seem to be acceptable, which pretty much leaves only the ISL out of the whole charging system. We did check the current sense things as well, they came up alright. I will check the I2C pull-ups though, just as a double precaution. So if we go to schematic, and let's see, 700. So this is your charging section. So we've changed the charger, we've changed the battery. The SMC is pretty much the last thing on the list, but we will check these resistors here just in case one of them is dead. Bottom of the SMC. You'll be hard pressed to think that they're damaged, but then again, in saying that, the whole SMC looks pretty damn clear, but it could have been the junk that we had on the SMC, on the battery connector may have done something. Hey Trent, Stuart. Let's see. This is first one here. What are they supposed to be? 2Ks. Okay, so something about 2K-ish. 1.68, that's perfectly reasonable. So 380, okay, and the next one is, and 1.62, so yeah. So at this point I can only imagine the SMC was damaged electrically, or electronically rather than through corrosion. I've been a bit absent, I'm feeling a bit wiped out. The double day trip to Townsville, I think it was more what I was eating when I was travelling, which was nothing really good. I think that's what messed me up, and I slept all of yesterday pretty much. I'm just heating up. This is only a 250, I just want to get the edge bonding off. Okay, now I take the chip off. Irakio, Byron. Kenny Witten. I certainly can't see any corrosion in there, so very unlikely that it's corrosion related. Need to remind myself to buy some more wick. Starting to run out of this one. 25-foot roll and I'm pretty much out. No micromage. Corey. Yeah, I know, it's unusual for the brain to be running while the daylight's on. Ron Rogers. Alright, it's acceptable. Now we're gonna go find ourselves a donor. That's going to be the hard part. Like I said, it's a 165. The only reason why we're bothering to put the effort into this one is because it is a high-end 165. It's a 1.8 gigahertz, 8 gigabyte. So definitely worth saving this one. I just got to find a 165 donor board that still has its SMC. It's a rare thing. 165 no SMC drill. I got, like I said, 34 37s, plenty of those. Could be a real problem here. I'm kind of shocked though if I've run out of 165. Well, not that shocked. Makes you realise how many you've repaired when you start piling up all the boards. Well, damn. This is going to be a sad end if I have run out. Seriously? Am I that lucky? Could it be? Could it be? I believe we have a 165 with an SMC intact. Just gonna see what other ones I've got. Yeah, that one's not. 3437. Looks like I'm going to be ordering some from AliExpress. Out. I think I got a few 165s, 3437s. Geez, another one. Well, out of all that, we have one SMC. I think I might need to start doing something about the amount of 1466 boards I've got. I've got a few too many. Greg W, just I had a customer who was pretty pushy about me to fix up a A1278 MacBook, 13-inch MacBook Pro from I think it was a 2010. And I really wasn't interested in doing it, but they kept pushing, so eventually I relented. And through the process of that, I just sort of got hooked onto it. Interestingly, I didn't actually make any money on that first job. I sort of took it down as a learning experience rather than a paid job. In hindsight, I should have charged anyway, but doesn't matter. Possibly, Eric, possibly, except when you don't have any SMCs. Or room. This edge bonding's not coming off quite as easily. Sure hope this one works. Looks like here. Looks a bit messy, but hopefully we'll have some success. Ah. Maybe we should manually put all the balls on like we did with the CD3217. I'm sure everybody would love that. Hey Indy, what you doing here, Nihil? I thought you were banned from here. Ooh, wrong temperature in air and everything. I was about to hit the chip with 460 and just crazy levels of power. Blast. I better clean that stencil. Not much fun when you got a dirty stencil. It really makes things so much more difficult. Still a hole there that's blocked. That's good. Should be just enough. And naturally there's a couple of missed or dragged out incorrectly. And we're all set. Andre, I don't know what weekends are. Tell me what weekends are. AITC. Well, it looks pretty damn good to me. Weekends are these magical things for beers and nothing. Oh, given that I don't have beer, then I guess it's nothing. That's hopefully cooled down enough. I'm not wealthy enough to have a weekend. Not yet. Eventually. But not yet. Especially if I keep doing silly things like dropping the SMC amongst a pool of solder balls. That was not smart. Can't wait to get the proper workshop with proper clean floors, clean everything, no bits of fur and carpet hair jumping into everything. Stuff is just everywhere. It's very annoying. I mean, there's always going to be fibers to some degree, but it's just a little out of hand. Lay down some flux. Not a lot, just a little. That's plenty. Hey Steve K. Ron Rogers, I've never service board with adhesive on chip can be removed. Depends on the adhesive. The stuff like on the SMCs here, that's just sort of really low temperature bonding. It's more just to stop the chip vibrating around. It doesn't actually bond the chip to the board. That's easy to get rid of. But the black underfill stuff that you see with underfilled chips, that is substantially more troublesome to get rid of. Bugger. I mean, oops. Do more air. Oh, that's better. wondering when it was going to drop. Yeah, it's dancing. Should be good. Hey, Yosef. Yosef, no, this particular one is worth repairing because it's a high-end version of the board. It's 8 gigabytes, 1.8 gigahertz. So yeah, this one is worth it. But some of the lower-end spec ones, you kind of, yeah, maybe. Particularly if they've already got some sort of damage on them. In which case, like if they're just a low-end spec, like 1.4 gigahertz and 4 gigs, it's almost not worth bothering with them. Better to just use them as a good quality spares board. Alright, so hope... What the hell? How did I not see that? That's quite a missing cap there. I just don't know how I didn't see that. So I definitely need to work on my sleep and vision because I'm missing things a bit too much lately. Arnold G, you still didn't get SM... Oh well, hopefully this is better than your outcome. So we definitely have to replace this cap here. Kind of curious as to what that cap's for, but you know, it is a decoupling cap, but the question is how important is it? So it's just under the BIOS. Over here, it's this one here, 7401 1V2S3, and you are powering the memory supply. Alright, so the fact that we've had this board booted and running means that obviously wasn't super important, but it is still an important cap, and for stability you do want it there. So we'll just nick it from... Yeah, I think we're going to experiment with this board, aren't we? This is another 165. What's the spec on this? Oh, this is also 1.88. Holy crap. Shame about all the damage around it. It's not glasses, Teresa. I can see perfectly fine. It's the brain. The brain is just tired. It's like when you try and play Best Fiends at 4 o'clock in the morning and you miss the obvious cues on how to solve the level. But then the next day when you try again, you go, duh, that was so easy. Oh, sorry folks, I just realised. There you go, brain in action. Alright, let's see if this now does give us battery detection for a start, and then battery charging. Might put the Wi-Fi module in so that we can see if that's being detected as well. Okay. See if it even starts from a power button. Yeah, it starts from a power button, that's a good sign. It's not a guarantee, but it is a good sign. Yeah, John Schroman, yeah, no problems with COVID here, we're lucky. Lucky for the fact that it's not really prevalent up here, but also for the fact that I always live my life pretty much as in a COVID quarantine state, as it were. So lucky for me, it's not a major change. Assuming the couriers and everything keep running. The couriers stop. Okay, yeah, we've got our battery up here, so it's definitely working. It was the SMC after all. Now, of course, you're gonna have people say, "I told you it was the SMC," and it's like, yeah, I mean, it was perfectly reasonable to assume it was the SMC, but it doesn't hurt to work from the simplest things first and work your way up to the SMC, because it's better to replace the ISL and be wrong than replace the SMC and find it still doesn't work and then have to go and replace the ISL. So you kind of want to chip away at the easiest things first. It's not because you don't think it's the SMC, it's simply because you're trying to save yourself work potentially, or complications. Okay, so is Wi-Fi running? Wi-Fi is good. Battery is obviously good. It's please broing, isn't it, Pedro? Pedro, the professional please brower. No, you're not a please brower. You're a scam artist. Professional scam artist. You should be proud of that. Double, I'm not minding working on the weekend. It's, sometimes it's more relaxing this way. I don't have the necessity of having to pack and ship orders on the weekend. I can just take my time, things like that. Everything looks good here. Back to front, you can always ask, but it's not a guarantee you're going to get an answer, but you can always ask. I might try to clean this front screen, it's pretty damn filthy. Shoot. Right. That was just some shock testing. Yeah, you're a little streaky still. Let's get out my glass wipes. By the way, anything I do here, please don't replicate it, because I don't know for sure if this is working or not. I don't know if it's damaging or not. This is on my equipment. Okay, so it's on my back if things go wrong. Don't assume what I'm doing here will work for you, ever. Okay, that's not evaporating off. This is where you need the newspaper. Want to get that squeak? Yeah, still not good. I don't know what is on that, but it's fairly resistant. I mean, it is better than it was before, but it's still not perfect. Oh dear. Well, what are our temperatures like? Skyrocketing. Good. Disconnect the battery. So I'd say now we've got a perfectly good board here now. I'll put that in the ultrasonic and put that into my pile of known working good boards ready for substitution. Time Tech, that is what I was just using before. So I got these glass wipes. Whatever is on this screen, well, there's a little bit left. It's fairly stubborn, so I'm going to guess it's actually someone used tap water, which has a lot of, or at least around here, in most places tap water has a good amount of dissolved minerals in it, and so they used tap water with something, maybe a bit of metho, and they wiped it over, and then as it dried it left that deposit of the minerals on there. Need to glue the SMC corners. That's not happening. I'm just waiting for it to drop down a little bit. Headlight restoration kits. I actually considered looking at a couple of those of my own car. I think my car is I don't know, I think it's like 2007 or something like that, so it's about 13 years old. And yeah, the glass for the front headlamps is getting pretty gnarly. For the SMC I use 0.35s. The stencil says 0.3, but I do prefer to use 0.35. The main reason being is with that particular stencil, if you use 0.3s and you're using balls, the hole is big enough that you'll be able to get 2.3s into a hole reliably when you don't want it to. Whereas 0.35, it stops the double up in the holes, but it still fits in perfectly fine. So that's why I use 0.35. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Let's see about this Mac. Yep, 1.8, i5, 8 gigs, 1600 megahertz. It's a nice board. And it's surprisingly potent. I should really make my compiler machine one of these boards. Because right now my compiler machine is a 1.4 4 gig one, and it is painfully slow when I'm recompiling Flexboard View. I guess because I only do it once a month or so, then yeah, I don't fret too much about it. Yeah, shut down. Kerosene, more like camphor. So 2005 polisher headlights to 2000 grit sandpaper and clear coat polish. Yeah, that would probably work. Yeah, mine's a Ford Falcon BA. It's a pretty standard, reliable, durable car that you can easily get 1,000,000 kilometers out of them. They just keep going and going and going. They're not the most economical, they're not the best of anything, but they are dependably durable. The nice thing is, because they're so common, you can get parts for them everywhere. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't bother going with exotic cars or anything like that, is because I like to be able to just get spare parts anywhere, anytime, without any dramas. I don't really have a strong desire to express myself through my car. And if I did, I'd get a BMW. Again, I miss that car. Alright, so I need to, let's see, mark this as mine. I would have thought Mercedes would be the Mac of cars. Actually, that's it. These days, I probably would prefer a Tesla. I'll take a 3 Series, I'll be happy. 3 Series and put 15 or 20 kilowatt hour of panels, not kilowatt hour, kilowatt of panels on my roof. Have that charged up in a day. Alright, what next? Title change? What do you mean? Alrighty. Let's see. This is a bad board. This is the one that has ugly corrosion up the top here. The sort of corrosion that generally indicates that you're going to have problems no matter what you do with it. And as much as it is a good board, we don't want to take that risk. So this becomes a donor. 34, 37, what we... Yeah, LD Rogers. I'm more of a what do you call it? Ambidextrous. That's it. Okay, 1.44. So we're not losing out anything much by not using this one, reviving this one. CPU is probably still good if I ever get to the point where I do replace CPUs, but I don't see that happening in a hurry. Hi, Mr. Rossman, welcome. Not sure why I said that. You missed the SMC goodness, I'm afraid, sir. Alright, let's try and make this one work. This is a bit of a challenge. Another 165. Let's hope the SMC isn't cactus on this. Since Lewis has turned up, it's probably going to be, because he brings all the goodness and happiness to the universe wherever he goes. Yeah, it looks a bit of a train wreck, but I think it's fixable. Let's see how wrong I'm going to be. Yeah, like I say, the type of corrosion this is, it's not like the previous one. Well, I'll show you that previous one again. So all of this is predominantly surface and stuff like that, whereas this one, you know, it's gotten in and it's eating through the layers. It's really made itself at home. It's like it's been there for 3 or 4 years, and chances are it's just going to be a dead end. What's this one? Okay, so this is a 1.8 gig, and it's a 165. So I say we give it a shot for the fun of it. salty today, don't you mean every day? Okay, and in honor of Lewis being here, we're going to Lewisify the board with plenty of flux. Lewis, I've picked up these boards from a local store that cannot be named for legal reasons, but let's just say every 6 to 12 months I pick up a bunch of the boards that they've replaced. And hopefully tomorrow I'll have some good news about the house. Hopefully tomorrow the sellers are going in to the solicitors, they'll be signing off, and then I should get a call from the bank for me to go in and sign off, and then a call from my solicitors to go in and sign off. And after all that, then a few weeks later I should get some deeds. One is hoping. This SMC is going to have to come off no matter what. It may be okay, but it's going to have to come off anyway. There's corrosion under it. Everybody loves corrosion on the SMC. What's this? Lewis wants me to check the PCH. Yeah, right. I'm only doing it because it's you, Lewis. And there we go. PCH says not today. You have to be careful. Even if the die isn't cracked, sometimes you'll get little brown marks around the edges here where the filler is, but there's nothing there, so that's good. We give this a bit of a scrubbity-dub-dub with some 80-20. Hey DefPum, how's it going? DefPum, do you have any luck getting people to send your stuff for the review? I have got my PC Byte here, but I just haven't had a chance to use it on the board I want to use it on. No, Lewis, I didn't take it off. It wasn't there in the first place. This is how I acquired it. I just got a stack of them. Fortunately, cheaper than what I buy them from AliExpress too. Okay, so the 80-20 after the flux does make it look a little less horrifying than what it originally started out looking. And you can start to think, oh yeah, we can replace that. Toothbrush ultrasonic. And the nice thing is it doesn't really take your hints away. Your hints are still there, just not as dramatic. So Lewis, you found yourself a house yet? You're moving out? You're going to San Francisco or something? Jim, it should. It's not a massive supply of boards, but it is fairly consistent. We don't have to worry too much about this pad here. This is a debug on-off pad, but I just wanted to check to see how the corrosion was going down onto that line there, which I'm fairly sure is 3v342, isn't it? Schematic. Yeah, it's this one here. SMC OFL. Duh. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so it's not really a critical one for that pad. It's more a convenience pad. Alrighty, now we have to look and see what we need to fix. That is completely gone. New toothbrush, nope. It's the same old one. I just need a new blade though right now. It seems like every board I do I need a new blade. They lose the fine tip too quickly. Turn this over. So with the new blade tip, you only just have to lightly brush the trace and the copper comes up, whereas with the old tip you kind of had to push in a bit too hard, and when you add too much force, that's usually when you make mistakes. Okay, so that one, these all look equally butchered. Yeah. So there's probably going to be, what, 6-7 traces on this one, at least. Thanks for a fun board. Okay, this could be a problem, as that trace is gone, might be gone under the pad. We're going to have to pull that resistor off and see if we even have anything there. Oh, that's a gunner. If this wasn't the high-end 8GB 1.8, I wouldn't have bothered. It's marginal. I don't care about the test pad, I care about the fact that the via goes via the test pad. These ones here are probably going to just rip right off. I always found it interesting the way they did this configuration here. Everyone, it's more a case of, it's not that it's common, it's just that when they do come in, that's often the cause, as opposed to there's always corrosion on these boards. And in all honesty, I kind of prefer it this way. Corrosion is far more manageable in most cases than logical or electrical damage. Like when you get a CPU fault or PCH fault, it's the end of the road. Whereas corrosion, as long as you can clean it up, it's usually pretty good. It also means you can repair these boards without having to use your brain, which is nice. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get plenty of PCs that are coming in corroded, but it's just not worth fixing them. You just say to the people, it's like, no, end of the road for that one, buddy. Go get a new one and move your hard drive across. I am kind of surprised though that Apple doesn't provide iCloud by default with enough storage for the particular device you're buying. It's like if you buy a 1 gig storage capacity device, then they should give you 1 gig of iCloud for backups. Yep, that just came off too. I have to remember which ones I'm taking off. That's got to come off, that one. Particularly with the iPhones. They optimize. You can tell by the fact that this is a very nice, clean looking flux that the tube is new. What seems to happen around here after a month or so is that flux starts getting a bit, it looks grainy. Okay, come on. I don't want to heat these pads up too much. I do want to get that corrosion off them. Very easy. You start chewing down on these pads with a soldering tip and next thing you know they lift up and you're like, no. This one here is... I might scrape it with the knife rather than the soldering iron. Because that just goes straight into a veer. Ow, mother flip, no, flippin' flip. Flip, that hurt. Need to make a better pouch. So this one here, okay, so that's 342, alright. So it's not a problem if I lose that veer, I can just, you know, join it up to one of the many other 342s. But it'd be nice not to have to. Hey, how's the moth? Just saw you there. No, I've driven a piece of... Damn it. I've driven a piece of copper underneath that chip. And normally it wouldn't be a problem, but that was perfectly placed. It's probably not even Lewis here tonight. It's most likely just a bot clone, something like that, pretending to be Lewis in order to get some more fans. I don't think Lewis even does board repair anymore, as far as I can tell based on looking at his YouTube playlist. He's a political commentator now. With a side run of real estate. Let's get some donors' parts dragged across. Turn the board vertical. Ah, cat groomer, yes. Cat groomer, of course. That's reasonable. Sometimes it can be surprisingly tricky trying to let go of the tweezers so that you can release the part. Sometimes you get a bit of a weird mental lock and you can't ungrip. Get it off. This is positively train wreck level. Really, it's a bit ridiculous the amount of 1466s I repair like this, because I do already have plenty of spares, but I guess the problem I'm worried about is that if I stop putting the effort into repairing the spares, then I'm going to run out just when I don't want to. At least the worst case scenario is if I have too many crumbly crumb blum 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 blum. If I have too many spares, then I can just sell off the ones I don't need. I'm just trying to add some solder to those pads there. That's going to flip over when I touch that again, so I'm not going to touch it. Just add a bit of leaded to the end again. and then I'll rotate it back. Lewis, if you're still there, I should show you the Lenovo I had from the other day and the quality of the solder they use. It was truly disturbing. Honestly, it was this crumbly, terrible crumbly solder. The only thing that I noticed that was reasonable about it was it had a pretty decent low temperature. But it was just like toothpaste with grit in it. It's about the best way I can describe it. What's this? I'm near the coast. Right? Magnitude 7 plus, tsunami warning, Shetland Islands near Antarctica. It's a long, long way from us. Bob Siddle, that solder was just bizarre. It really was. I mean, it could have been the flux I was using wasn't agreeable to it, because there are certain solder mixes where you need to have a specific type of flux in order to make it work properly. But overall, it was odd, alright? It's not thin, it's just... You gotta appreciate the weather is around about 30 here, and the board is hot. This is just the typical 559 stuff, the Amtech. But this is what warm weather does. Makes things flow. Nah, 30 ain't bad. I didn't say it was hot weather, I said it was just warm. And as I said, with the combination of the board is hot, so as soon as it touches, obviously it's going to melt. Still some flux. Obviously we've still got to run all the replacement traces, but I prefer to get the parts down first. Because at least then, the amount of energy that the traces typically require, or the bodge wires require to move around and put down, is nowhere near the amount required for the parts. Alright. Kind of bodge wire time though. I'm a little worried about this resistor up here, and this is an important one. I think I might actually lift that one and replace it. .41 is in the hot region now. Anything over 38, I think you can reasonably say hot. Anything over 42 is starting to get very hot. Yep, good reason to remove that resistor after all. Now on the donor board, that one's a bit dodgy. So let's have a look what you are. 100k. I might find another donor. Not like I don't have any donors. Now that one looks acceptable. You can't see. Right, time to run the bodge wires. Ooh, what's going on here? Is that just... okay, that's fine. Yep. Bodge wire run time. Now I can use some rebar level stuff, or I can use some fencing wire. Generally I go for the rebar. It's an overkill, but it's readily available for me. And in saying that, I'm trying to look for it. Come on, where are you? Come on. So I might have to just go fencing wire. I do like this stuff, but generally it's not what I use for this particular type of repair. But it does work well. It's enameled, but it very rapidly loses that enamel when you heat it. Bugger, it also breaks. That's the other problem. Crap. Alright, let's do it this way then. It's also a little bit flyweight, so it just vanishes when you let go of it. I don't even know where that wire went. What have we got sucked up into the extractor? Joseph, what do you mean getting crazy? Sydney housing has always been crazy. Well, yeah, it's certainly getting worse, and it's gotten worse against the anticipated behaviour that we were looking for. Like, there was a strong idea that due to COVID, we would see an exodus from the city. And subsequently, the glut of house sales would push the market down, the price down. That didn't happen. But that was the theory. Yep, tried to make it better, made it worse. Standard behaviour. Ow. Just note to self, touching the tip of the iron even through the gloves is surprisingly hot. Not what I wanted. I haven't finished with these wires yet. I was just getting them tacked in. Way too much. Yeah, see how it goes. It's not like it's going to bridge across that sort of distance anyway. Hey, Sudi. I've still got 2 to go. It's got this one and that one there. That one's not necessarily needing it, but it's more precautionary because there's a neck here that's very narrow, and we do have a veer at this end, so it does have to get up to there. Damn it, where'd you go? Of course, this is going to be fun when it all unravels when I have to do an SMC replacement. No one ever thinks of that. But we can sort of cheat our way out of that by putting some UV cure on it. I say cheat because it's Probably would have been smarter to get the SMC sorted out first, but we can't test the SMC until we do all this. I guess we could have gone on the assumption that the SMC is most definitely stuffed and replaced it regardless, but this is a 165, and guess what? We don't have any more 165 SMCs. So either this works or it goes on the waiting list. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate the advertising. As far as I know, that's everything that needed to be done. Guess we'll boot it up and see what happens. If you don't have a PayPal account and you're trying to buy Flexboard View, then maybe find someone who does. It's going to be less drama than trying to find another way to pay for it. You can actually still do PayPal without an account if you have a credit card. I do believe they allow that now. Yeah, that's where that piece of wire was. Hey, wasn't it switched over? Chipmunk. Power. Let's see if this thing goes kablam on the very first moment. Yeah, we've got a fan spin. We've got power. Let's see if we get green blinkies. Come on, green blink. Come on. 336. Yes! Works. Alright, we'll plug that into the chassis and see if we actually do get something more than just a green blink. We'll put a heat sink on as well. And a spot of mixing of thermal paste, because we don't care, because this is just a test. Squish, squish, squish. It's not super critical, not at this stage anyway. Right, now we know that this SMC is a dud from the previous job, so that goes straight into the bin. Otherwise they end up with a dozen SMCs that I have no idea about on the workbench. Yeah, this is mine. Ah, another piece of that wire. So the other trouble I have with that particular wire that I use then is that because it is so fine, it gets stuck on everything. Unfortunately, it is enameled, but it only takes that one little piece of enamel to go missing at the wrong place, and your working board becomes something not quite so working. Ach, nee man. MacOS test stick. Put a Wi-Fi module in. Come on, there we go. Battery. Let's see if it will power up. It is spinning up, so that's good. Boom, nice. Now this battery is the one we had before, so it's like about 99% battery power in it. Seems like I booted at a pretty decent rate. It's good. Yep, it's working. Another 1.8, 8 gig. It's 2017. So this is a very recent board. 2017 edition of the 1466. I accidentally jammed my finger into the fan then and it stopped. Whoops. Fortunately they do restart after a few seconds. Hey sweetie.
Yeah, Michelle Woodard or something.
Oh yeah.
She wants to know if you can still fit in fixing her phone today. She said she's been messaging you. I said you were in the middle of something.
Oh right. So she's here now. Is she bringing her phone to me, or let me just quickly check my
I think it
Facebook.
might be her son's phone.
Sorry, her son's phone.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure
it's
a
an iPhone XR at the front and the back. Let me just check. Come on, Facebook, hurry it up already. Yeah, Chaplin.
Oh, Chaplin.
Yeah, well, one of the last names.
Michelle.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I can get that done for her. The front only.
Front only.
Yeah, I did say to her only the front I could do, but I just want to make sure that's still.
And have you already quoted her?
Yeah, I've quoted her, and it'll take about an hour.
Okay, how much did you quote?
189. Yep. Oh, wish a ham toasty. Cool. Blimey, that'd be nice. Alright, let's plug the charger in and see what we got going on here. See if we got the... Yep, it's charging. That's good. So yeah, the board's good. It'll go through an ultrasonic, and then I'll have to put some UV cure on those multitude of traces that we did. But like I said, it was one. Even though the corrosion looked nasty, the type of corrosion it was sort of indicated that it should be repairable, and seems to be the case. Whereas, yeah, with that other donor board, whichever one it was, I wasn't game to do it because I've dealt with those sort of boards before. You know, they've been just sitting too long, and they do tend to, you get them up and running for a little bit and then they have problems. So even though the expanse of the corrosion on this one was worse, the severity was less. Yeah, that one there. Overall, this looks like a perfectly good board. And certainly I'm pretty sure the SMC will be fine on this, but everything else can take a hike. You should run Onyx on that test disk. What's Onyx? I don't know what that is. I mean, the value seems to work perfectly fine for these sort of things, and then I do all my other tests, my keyboard tests, sound checks, everything else. I'm pretty happy with the combination I've got, so I'm not sure what Onyx is going to offer on top. I'll quit this, and I should have that phone come to me in a moment. Sorry, what is it? Is a Mac clean up tune? A Mac what tune?
She already paid because it might be someone else coming to pick it up.
Oh,
So
okay.
she paid ahead.
Oh, right. Okay, thanks.
I think it's someone else's phone.
Yeah.
Her kids broke it.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Or helped break it.
Yeah, help break it, yeah. Oh, crikey.
1 moment.
Alright, looks like we've got an XR to fix. And this board can go into the ultrasonic. Let's hope I don't botch up this XR. What we will definitely do is put new gloves on, so we don't get a cross-contamination between MacBooks and iPhones. Okay. I mark those boards so I find out that they're not a customer's board. I wouldn't like to running around going, who does this belong to, and having a bit of a freak out session. Something I'm quite good for. Okay. They're all, yeah, still got to be worked on. There's some 3437s in that pile I've still got to work on. We'll get around to them. There's still family, you know. What? Who's still family? Cool off the hands. Oh, MacBooks and iPhones. Yeah, they're family, but can't trust them. They might have cross-contamination. Oh, that is nice and cool when you put the alcohol on your hands and you... That is the ethyl alcohol that I'm putting on my hands, not not methyl or isopropylene. Still makes it quite tricky to get these on even after that. Okay. That's a serious auto case. Back has been smashed. I wonder if the auto case was an afterthought or after the fact of the smash. And again, could have been a prior. And it was just a really bad smash. Yeah. Honestly, my fingernails give up before the clips do sometimes. Well, it's not too bad. It's actually been crushed in. So someone's... That doesn't bode well. And the whole damn phone has a twist in it. That's really not boding well. Alrighty. This is an XR, right? Sometimes I forget the... sometimes I feel like the XR is not the XR because it is a larger than I expect phone. But then I compare it to my, say, 7 Plus and then I realise, yep, it's an XR. Well, for as long as Apple has the wireless charging, we're not going to see the return of metal backs. What would be nice if they just had plastic backs, but I can't see Apple doing a repeat of the 5C ever again. Well, internally it looks okay. Looks like somebody's been here before me. Alrighty. Hopefully they were respectable. Don't you dare do that. It's funny. I suspect we're going to find an easy fix sticker under this. So whoever it is, they're buying their stuff from the same supplier I am, but they have put their own sticker on top. Okay, why has my... I'm going to fix this up. Don't know why the compass thing has dropped off. There we go. Oh no, I'm wrong. Okay, something crazy, eh? I don't know why they bother with that. Let's see, hopefully they migrated the True Tone across from the previous screen, but I have a feeling they have not. Not 100% convinced that's the proper True Tone, but we'll roll with it. We'll use a high copy on this one because that's, without doubt, that's original. Warranty stickers. Warranty schmarranty. I gotta say, I don't really, not keen on the way the XR does its data cable, but okay, well, that's done. Jim, that the phone is an XR. The device I was just using is a device for copying the data that's stored in these screens. The data is usually like the serial numbers, the True Tone information, things like that. You don't... Oh boy, I don't know why I'm losing my voice all of a sudden. You don't have to copy that stuff across, but it is useful if you want to have less dramas. Now, one of the most important screws in this whole assembly is this annoying little tri-wing up here, just between the cameras and all that. Ah, great, you don't want to come out. If you lose it, it's a real right pain in the post area to get a replacement. Hey Brook Hill, welcome. Congratulations on being your first. This little thing, you do not want to lose it. And what's really wigging me here right now is that I'm having a... Ooh, could have lost that completely. Yeah, I've had a couple that have just like gone poing and vanished into the darkness of my floor. What the... They had that installed wrong. Oh my goodness. They had it like that. It's not like meant to be that way. There's a... See this little fold-in cusp area? That is actually meant to go over that vertical metal tab just there, like this. So, fantastic. I'm dealing with professionals. Okay, now the way I like to remove this assembly is to actually dislodge it from... Yeah, this is going to work. Yep, there we go. Rather than pulling these out of the plastic frame, it's easier just to try and get the frame to come away from the screen assembly. And they can go in the trash. Now I do have to clean up the trash that they've left there and get rid of a few things. Yeah, I'm not even sure it was a 10-minute tech level, it was more like never tech. You do want to get this glass off. So if you leave it there, what often can happen is that it presses against the new screen and creates a very small bit of damage. And then what happens is over time, that crack just grows, and then all of a sudden, the nightstand attacks, and your customer brings it in and says it just cracked while it was on the nightstand. And you look at them and you go, no way, you damn people with your nightstands. But in this particular instance, it would be your fault because that little piece of glass started the trouble. Not sure I'm going to be able to get this cleaned out very well. Much better. There we go. Alright, so now I can put that back in with the knowledge that it's not going to just crack my new screen. But they've also not put this in properly. The Face ID sensor. They've kind of left it jammed out. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, so it should be sitting in flush like that, not skewed out. Good, we can put that in now. Oh, sorry, were you saying there's more glass there that I missed? I thought I rolled it all off. No, there's no glass that I can see. Oh, wait, you're talking about this smidge? Yeah, fair enough. Looks like they did some damage up here too. Fortunately, they've done it in the corner of the flex where hopefully there's no real damage. But yeah, they must have driven a spudger or something under there. Nice, real nice. Alright, so the piece of glass I got was actually separate again. Fair enough. And unlike the previous tech, we'll actually put this back on properly. Well, this metal clip. I generally don't bother putting any glue in on these because the screw assembly, the way it's all mated in with the plastic, it generally sort of precludes the need for that. I mean, it probably should, but I've never run into troubles thus far. And it does mean for the next tech, when they replace it, their job should be a little bit easier too. And now the screw that we don't want to lose. Done. Okay, they've added a lot more adhesive on this one to what I'm used to. I'm just got to work out what their point and purpose is. It can be very frustrating when they do what they've done here. Damn it, why did they do that? What have I missed? Why have they done that? Okay, so normally you just peel this off. Okay, we try and do that. But they've joined these up, preventing you from... I suppose maybe I can come out the other side. Maybe they're expecting right-handed people to do this. Yep, they were expecting right-handed people. Okay, that's what I missed. I'm so sorry, I'm left-handed. Yes, this is a magnetic mat. It's nothing fancy. It's simply, if you go down to the dollar store or whatever the heck people have in there, it's an equivalent in their area, and it's just simply printable fridge magnet stuff. That's it. Nothing more, nothing fancy. And I just chop it up into various sizes. I think you can buy 10 sheets of the stuff for, I don't know, $20 on eBay. Yes, all my drivers are left-handed, specially designed just for me. So is my workbench, specially designed. And I make sure the exhaust fan, I make sure it spins in reverse to what it normally would, so that the air doesn't flow off my hand incorrectly. Life is hard as a left-handed person. Yeah, Jim, it definitely is. I mean, thank you very much for sending that. It's certainly, what do they say, the pièce de résistance? It certainly is. Being able to just zoom in and get a decent quality. And, I mean, even back at the same zoom level as, say, what the 622 had, we're still getting so much more information through the pipeline. And that's in spite of the fact that I'm using a cheap $12 HDMI converter. So imagine what it's going to be like if I get a proper Magewell. It'd be amazing. Make sure everything's tightened up. Yep. Okay. Make sure we don't snare any cables. God, no. Last thing I want to do on a $100 screen like this. Yes, they did used to torture left-handed people right up until like the 60s. At school, if you're left-handed, they'd tie your hand behind your back. Make sure you did it the right way. Okay, this is looking good. Now, unfortunately, I have to do the testing off screen because Okay. Make sure this thing charges. Yep. 1.7, 1.9, 2.3. Okay, so about 2 and a bit amps, so that's good. Happy with that. Put in that last screw. Marvelous. Now the only trouble here is I kind of want to give them the option to pull the plastic off, but I can't really reassemble it in that state. So what I have to do is put it back into the cage like that. There we are. I've had some people think that that's actually a screen protector. I'm like, no. They're like, you've got a fair number of bobbles in our screen protector. Can you do that again, please? And it's like, it's not a screen protector. I mean, it is in the sense of it's to stop junk getting on it while it's on the workbench, but it's not actually a long-term screen protector. Now, the ideal solution to fix that is to actually provide screen protectors, but it's not something I really care to do too much, because there's a certain level of expectations that come with that. And people sort of think, wow, it broke even though it had a screen protector, and it's like a corner smash or something like that. And they're like, I just can't cover it for that sort of thing. I will sometimes give protectors to people and they can fit it themselves. Alright, so that's good. Alright, we are done. Well, that pretty much does it for today. So we've got that SMC fixed. We then got the other board fixed, and now we've got an XR fixed. So I can retire for today, go kick back, have myself a coffee, and at 3 o'clock I probably should do some coding. I know Flexboard View needs some coding done. I have to get that open board data integration finished up. Otherwise people are just going to start leaving in droves and start using Landrex again or something, which will be a bit disappointing. Better head that off before it gets too dramatic. Okay, well, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. And for all the new people, I'm back around usually most days. There's no rhythm or rhyme to my pattern, but often every day I'll have something, and sometimes I will take a couple of days break, but you never know. So keep in touch. I'll see you later. You'll take care.